And it's about balancing out the different frequencies that are running through us. And we have this beautiful voice that's always dialoguing with us. And a lot of people always assume that the ego is something that needs to be eradicated. And you can no more eradicate your ego than you can, chop off your own arm. It's part of you. It's who you are. And the way I look at ego and intuition and the way they balance each other out is our intuition is our direction and our ego is our action. So the idea is we want to have a healthy ego to where our ego is helping us to stand powerful in the world that we're existing in, because as much as we may want to be in fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional space, we are here in this third dimensional reality. And this is where we are creating our divine experience. This is where we are living the soul journey and the soul path. And it's important for us to do things like this, where we're having these dialogues with one another, because it lets us see who we are. And what's been coming up in a lot of the readings and stuff that I do is at a base level and at a core level, we all want to be seen, and we all want to be experienced. And I think we do that here in this tactile reality. And it's wonderful when we can come together on a show like this and co-create this experience together, because we're hearing each other's voices, and now it's captured on the internet for posterity, and we can always go back and listen to this experience. But I think we all need to have that vulnerability, and that comes in through that balance of ego and intuition. When we are able to let our walls down enough to let each other in, it's a powerful way to experience the world. Because oftentimes we get caught up in, we want to do ayahuasca, we want to do DMT, we want to have these very transcendent experiences, but the most transcendent experience we can have is to be fully present with those in our life. That happens here, and that's beautiful. And I'm going to say this because I say it a lot, and I think it's true, and I think we have to embrace this reality on some level, is that, this physical body is going to die at some point. We're all going to die. And that's a beautiful thing, because it means that our time here in this experience is limited. And that means we have to do as much as we can and experience as much as we can while we are still in these, meat shells. And I think it's important for us to understand that when we are able to stand in presence with one another, that is the most transcendent thing we can do. And we always talk about these wonderful spiritual processes and things that we can do and things that we can experience, but bring it down into something more tangible and more practical. If we stay just in the conceptual, I love that we talk about stones and crystals, because that's a way to make spirituality more tactile. Some people will experience phenomenal things from certain stones, and some people won't feel much at all. But I think the fact that I can hold, touch, experience this little being, it allows me to have that tactile connection to some aspect of my spirituality. And I think that's something that ends up getting missing in a lot of the spiritual circles and dialogues, is how do we make this stuff practical? How do we make this stuff something that I can experience and embrace? The most difficult path in spirituality is the path of integration, and learning to integrate my many parts into my experience. I consider myself a shadow walker, meaning that I'm not afraid to go into the darker aspects of myself, because we have to embrace those parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at. We are the entirety of our experience.